Okay.
Hi, I'm Bob Batcher, the Executive Director of Prime Plus. I'm your friend, and you are friends to us. And we're friends to a lot of people, and I'm on the line with a big friend, Keith Johnson. How you doing?
Very well. Thank you, Bob. Thanks for inviting me.
HRT. You are Mr. HRT to me anyway, but your real title is what?
My real title, I'm the Paratransit Contracts Administrator for Hampton Roads Transit.
I think I'm going to stick with Mr. HRT.
No,
But,
that's
but
not.
you can't, no. But Paratransit,
hmm
you see those buses all over the place. It's a division of HRT. How does that work?
That's correct. It's a division of HRT. We have to provide service under the American with Disabilities Act that requires transit services who use federal funds. They have to provide service to the disabled who cannot access our regular fixed route services.
Okay, because Prime Plus is on Newport Avenue in Norfolk,
hmm
and it's about 2 blocks away from probably the closest bus stop. But I love it because every day I see that paratransit bus going around the loop in the front of the building and then our back with the adult day. So it's a tremendous connector.
hmm
But what's the difference between the person who rides the bus off of Granby Street and then on paratransit? What's the
Uh,
difference?
to qualify for our paratransit services, a person has to go through an application process, and they fill out an application, and then they also have their doctor or some other medical professional fill out a verification form that verifies that their disability prevents them from using their regular bus. And like your example is perfect because since you are 2 blocks away from the closest bus stop, those people who can't travel that distance by themselves, they're just not able to do that. That would be a qualifying factor for a person.
All right. Because I know that the participants in Prime Plus love the service.
Mhm.
And they
Well,
love you, by the way. Did you know that?
that's because you just talk us up over there.
Well, but part of our routine day at Prime Plus is not only just to do the exercise, but to really kind of touch and develop community. And for some seniors, access to services is a real barrier. So that's where you guys really kind of step in. But how does it work? I mean, because we sell the tickets at our front office, and they're not that much.
hmm
And then
Uh,
rumor has it, if you get those tickets and you do use the big bus, is that rumor true?
if you're qualified for paratransit service, you can ride all of our fixed route services for free. So that means you ride big bus, you won't have to pay a fare. You can ride ferry, light rail. You wouldn't have to pay any fares on any of those modes of transportation.
See, I
But
thought I
again,
was the only one that knew that. Now you're
oh,
telling the world?
oh no, the world knows.
Oh,
Right now we're probably doing last before COVID.
yes.
We had 14,000 to 15,000 paratransit trips being taken on regular bus over the
Okay.
course of a month.
Wow. Okay. The world is kind of at home,
hmm
but you guys are still moving around.
Yes, we are. I mean, our regular buses are still running. Our regular buses are running limited service. They changed the service a little bit. There's less buses out there because there's less demand.
Right.
But paratransit, HRT chose not to make any changes to paratransit, so we are operating on regular service. And paratransit has our customers pretty much decided to stay home. So right now we're doing less than half of our normal work. Like we're not bringing anybody to Prime Plus.
Right. But if somebody wants to look into it and sign up now, they could, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Our contractor who does our applications, they're still doing it. They're in California and they're all working from home right now, but all the paperwork still goes through. Technology is a wonderful thing.
They
It
all have
still,
that thing that you have on your head.
absolutely, they do. Yep. And when you call, you're getting somebody at home. When you call the ADA ride who does our applications, they'll be picking up the phones at their homes.
Okay. I can't have you on without mentioning one of our favorite guys, Tommy.
Yes.
And Tommy Omega, they're members of Prime Plus, but they are very comfortable with bus because they have very high expectations, right? Because they
Mhm.
came down from New York City. But you actually have enlisted him, he tells us anyway, on an advisory committee.
Yes. Tommy's part of our paratransit advisory committee,
So
and
that's
that
true?
that is true. And that advisory committee is made up from two representatives from each of the cities that we serve. Customers are represented, and also one provider from every every city that we serve. So altogether, our board has room for 21 members, our advisory board. And at the moment, I think we have about 17.
Because it's a lot of moving parts.
Yes.
And yet you really are focused on meeting the customer's needs.
Because the service in Norfolk is different than the service is in Newport News because it's based on when the regular buses operate. I mean, Newport News and Hampton, and Chesapeake, they don't run the service that Norfolk does. I mean, Norfolk, you can get around pretty much from 4 o'clock in the morning till almost 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
In the core areas on our regular
Well,
bus service.
only my mother used to say after midnight. So we need to tell our seniors that after midnight, it's after curfew for them, right?
Yes, I mean,
You can try to tell them that. You know, Keith, you are definitely part of the Prime Plus family, and we're real proud of that family because we're building community, a safe, respectful community where it's cool to be a senior. And it is so cool to see at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, people kind of looking out the front window and looking out after each other. Because that's what the Prime Plus community is about, is looking out after each other. They know it may not be their bus, but they're going to make sure that somebody else gets the right bus.
right.
So I wanted to take this time to say thank you to you, because you're always there to answer that phone and meet a need, but also to the work that HRT does. I think sometimes you get the bum luck from the media, but we want to say thank you because the connectivity in building our community starts with accessibility, and HRT has been very responsive. So I want to use today to say thank you for
Well,
the years of service, and we're looking forward to many, many more years of service post-COVID.
yeah. And we do appreciate that, and we appreciate the partners that we have out in the community, such as Prime Plus, and there's many others like your service who really coordinate with us. Many of the dialysis centers, the work centers that we bring customers to and from every single day. And
Yeah.
without them, we wouldn't have the input, and we wouldn't be able to just to tweak the service the way it needs to be. And
But one of the things I want to talk to the people that might be watching is sometimes it's easy for us to get up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to go do this. But for a senior who's kind of walker or a wheelchair, they have to kind of think it through and process. And so the partnership between Prime Plus and HRT and the driver, it really is well thought out and well planned. And I want to thank you all for helping support us. We're an independent nonprofit, and that support, financial and the moral and participating on a daily basis is greatly appreciated. But keep us in mind when it comes to your giving, and keep HRT in your mind and your thoughts for getting us through the whole COVID time and providing that connectivity. Thanks a lot, Keith.
thank
Appreciate
you, Bob. Thanks
it.
for having me.
Thank you.